That's it, Buster. No more military aid.
Nuke 'em. Get them before they get you.
General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set material conditions even throughout the ship. Make senior reports to DC Central.
This is a special report. We interrupt your regular programming to bring you breaking news. Global tensions have reached boiling point with the onset of what some are calling the Sea Shadow Crisis. It has been confirmed that only hours ago, a US destroyer has been lost following a suspected submarine attack on a convoy of civilian ships. Fleet elements and local ships swiftly responded to the disaster, launching a daring rescue operation to save the crew of the stricken vessel. Despite the chaos, the combined efforts of the rescue teams managed to save numerous lives, showcasing remarkable bravery and coordination. No country or actor has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, leaving the world on edge. In a stern response, the president has vowed swift retribution against those responsible, promising that justice will be served. In a call to the Kremlin, the Soviet premier has denied any involvement and offered his condolences for those lost. A task force has been assembled comprising of some of the most advanced naval assets in the area to hunt down the perpetrators and ensure that such an atrocity never happens again. The international community continues to watch closely as this high-stakes operation unfolds, hoping for a resolution that brings peace and stability back to the region. Would you like to know more? Make sure you subscribe for regular updates from the world of sea power. Ahoy and welcome back to Sea Power. Today, we have a very important mission. As you saw from the newscast, there is a suspected submarine in the area of our convoy. We've already lost a destroyer, and we've been tasked with finding the aggressors and bringing them to justice. My goal during the early access period of Sea Power is to experience all of the mission sets that naval vessels can get up to during their service. We have tracked down, identified, and eliminated a high-value target. We have escorted a convoy of chicken tenders, and now we must illuminate, encircle, ensnare and eliminate this shadow in the sea. If you haven't seen the other missions, make sure to check them out. Let's look at the ships. The vengeful leader of our task force is the Belknap cruiser, which was a single-ended guided missile cruiser built during the 1960s. The Mark 10 Mod 7 launchers in this class were capable of launching the RUR-5 ASROC to eliminate the need for a separate launcher. Unofficially, it was called the Tyrael launcher. In the late 1980s and the early 1990s, the class had its standard SM-1 system upgraded to utilize the SM-2ER. The venerable gearing class was a product of the end of World War II. A modification of the Alan M. Sumner class, the class saw extensive modification post-war, switching its mission from anti-air defense to anti-submarine warfare. The Oliver Hazard Perry, or the FIG-7, was built under Admiral Zumwalt's high-low fleet plan. They were low-capability ships, with the Spruance-class destroyers serving as the high-capability ships of the fleet. Built in both long and short hull forms, the OHP is most notable for being able to carry two anti-submarine warfare choppers, namely the Sea Sprite, a single-engine chopper initially. It struggled to perform and was upgraded with a second engine. Capable of a variety of roles, the Sea Sprite is a valuable tool. Okay, we have our mission. The things we know. Hostile submarine. Friendly merchant shipping in the area. We know that the submarine is aggressive and heading towards us, according to that very short briefing. So our first action here is to get the choppers in the sky to make sure that we have early warning. We do not want to lose any ships, and if we do this right, there should be no threat to us whatsoever. Now there's a few things that we can do to really maximize our search ability and our chances of finding these subs at long range so that we can deal with them from long range. Ideally, our choppers are our first and best line of defense against submarines. They are able to detect them, and they are also able to destroy them with their 2 airdropped Mark 46s. So their primary ability is the sonar buoys to detect. They also, some variants of ASW choppers have dipping sonar. I don't believe the Sea Sprite does, but I know that the Sea Sprite has a magnetic anomaly detector. So if it's at low altitude, directly over a submarine that's near the surface, you have a very good chance of detecting it, or at least knowing something is there, and you can explore further. The OHP has 2 choppers, so it's very, very useful. The first thing I'm doing here is setting up the sonar range. So we have a passive sonar range of 20 kilometers, and that is 10.7 nautical miles. Setting up the circle there so we know the passive range of our sonar. Now that is not the max, like all the time range of your sonar. It's very dependent on your speed, engine noise, sea state, water temperature. All sorts of stuff could affect your ability to detect things at range. The thermal layer, all those things. So to maximize our chances, we really need to be running pretty slow. But moving slow also makes you a big target for a submarine that may be in the area. So there are a couple of techniques that you can use to throw off torpedo tracks and lose acoustic tracking of torpedoes that may be fired at you. And we're going to illustrate those today. The gearing class has a range of 18 or 19 nautical miles, so that's about 18 or 19 kilometers for its passive, and so that's about 9 nautical miles. The gearing class Framcam is probably the least capable of our submarine hunting ships. It only has the hull-mounted sonar. It does have the ASROC, but it's wholly reliant on its hull mount to detect things because it doesn't have a chopper. But having an OHP here with its 2 choppers can make up for that. The OHP also has a towed sonar array, which can help eliminate its own engine noise because it's towed many kilometers behind the ship. And it also has a towed decoy, which can help it throw off torpedo track. So very, very versatile anti-submarine ship. Much loved ship. They served in the Royal Australian Navy as the Adelaide class, and we had 6 of them. Bringing out the Sea Sprite does take a fair amount of time to ready up the chopper and get her airborne. But we already have 1 airborne. So we have our towed sonar array out. We're moving at a fairly slow pace at the moment, trying to extend our sonar range as much as possible without having to use a ping. And a ping is fairly short-ranged anyway. So the first of the Sea Sprites is up. I was hoping to see the range of the sonar buoys, but we don't have a range here in the unit card. It hasn't been updated yet. But I think what I'll do is I will go for 5 nautical miles between each sonar buoy. Keep them nice and close so they have overlapping sensor range, and that can help us triangulate a position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a bit of a corridor here. So we're going to set up some sonar buoys directly ahead of where we're going so that we don't stumble into waiting submarines. And then we will also set up sonar buoy line both north and south of our position at the outermost range of our passive sonar on the ships. I will spread the 2 destroyers, the frigate and the destroyer, apart, and I'll keep them at the range of so they're within the range of each other's passive sonar. And then I will set the line of buoys up both north and south of that position. So my theory there is to set up a net. If there's anything in the net, it won't be able to escape without being detected, and our ships can work to eliminate everything within the corridor. If anything tries to enter the corridor, then we will be aware of them and we'll be able to react before they get too close. And if they are not here, then we just keep moving in a line, basically a big grid, and we keep searching each grid until we find them, or until they withdraw. I'm going to mark the position and the bearing of the merchant ships so we don't cross them. And we have to be aware that a submarine may try to hide near a merchant ship to mask its own engine noise and cavitation. Modern submarines are capable of pretty high speeds, but they're fairly noisy when they do that. Right, so setting up the southernmost sonar buoy line, 5 nautical miles apart from each other. And the second of our choppers from the Fig 7 is now coming up. So that will be our northern heli. And once we find a submarine, we will then just converge on their position with all of our helicopters, set up a ring of sonar buoys around them, so we are absolutely certain of their position, and then we're just going to rain pain down on top of them with ASROCs, or we'll airdrop them with the choppers as the first attack. Alright, so now we're setting up a course here for the Fig 7. And it's a zigzag course. But I don't like that. So we will set it up again in a moment. Going to slow the missile cruiser down and have both of her escorts ahead of her position. And just hope that the submarines aren't coming from behind us. The Stanley has a lot of ASROC we can throw downrange. And we can scramble the choppers back to her pretty quickly if we need to. The way we set up this formation though, that everyone should be within range of everybody else for cover. Setting up the northern line here, 5 nautical miles apart. The Tucker will move to the very outer edge of that sonar buoy line, and then start working her way down. And so each ship will have sonar buoys on either side of its passive sonar range. And the models look great in this game. We're about to drop a sonar buoy now. Circling like a cat in the litter box. Ready to drop something nasty. Right, the ears are in the water. This is good. And now we just have to wait for our boys and girls to set up what we've designated them to do. We could speed it up, but I'm still going through the ship porn phase. And it's perving on every ship in slow-mo. Which one is your favourite looking ship in today's mission? I think they all look pretty great. The gearing, it's that iconic World War II silhouette. Modernised. Great. The funny thing is, when I was filming the intro for this video, I just was shooting B-rolls just to find some interesting shots to do the vehicle highlights, when this ship exploded just randomly, and I was not expecting it. And it turns out that it was a Rogue Mark 46 that's, I guess, someone set to surface mode. Well, they removed the surface limit, and it hit us amidships. And because I was in cinematic camera, I just didn't see it happen, which is kind of crazy. Now I am just using the ruler here so that I can plot the courses for both of my northern and southern ships to be symmetrical. I'm a stickler for symmetry. That way we don't miss a single inch of this sea, and we can get some revenge for the destroyer lost during the shooting of the intro. didn't have a plan for the story yet, but it sort of told itself. Scrambling all the choppers to try and rescue the men in the lifeboats was fun. It doesn't work, but I tried. But let's see if we can't. And I hadn't even played the mission yet. I just wanted to get some shots of the ship. I didn't know what was going to go down. So the subs were out there somewhere. When I looked at the intel feed, nope, it was a Mark 46. Whoa, we have a contact here. Our first contact. Contact 7005. 13 decibels detected. It's very quiet. Very quiet. Close to the convoy ships. I'm still going to continue setting up the line. It just means that we've found something in our net before we've even set it. Our gearing is going to go all stop now when she reaches the edge of this point, and she's going to drift. Removing engine noise, still traveling, although the ship is slowing down very quickly. Ships have a lot of inertia, and so you should be able to drift for quite a distance. That eliminates your noise, and then when you are finished listening, you go flank ahead and you accelerate. That's called sprint and drift. And you can maintain an average speed of about standard ahead if you do that with the right timing. I don't see any way to automate that, so I will have to do it myself. Right, what we're going to do here with our first contact is we're going to drop a pyramid around him. Okay, so we have what appears to be a nuclear-powered submarine. We are not sure of the class, and all of those that were in the intel list, I don't believe they were enemy. I believe that most of them were NATO. Could this be a friendly submarine? I'm certainly not going to take a risk. We are a fair way away from being able to launch an RUR on them. But they are heading towards us. The second sonar buoy is now getting a reading. I believe the submarine is speeding up, or we're just able to hear it better with the second buoy. And it is a confirmed hostile submarine. We just spent all that time setting up a beautiful search grid, and we found him already. Which means I'm going to scramble the Fig 7. She's not as fast as the other ships. It's a little bit slow at 29 knots. We do not have ASROC on the Oliver. So we have to either drop torpedoes or push our cruiser at 31 knots, flank ahead to get there. We will also scramble the gearing. At this stage, we only know about one submarine. I still have my choppers setting up the corridor, so we're not too concerned about something sneaking in. This could be a trap, but it won't matter so much for this submarine. Just going to mark his position, wait just a short amount of time, and then mark his position again. And from that, we will be able to extrapolate his true course. At least until he maneuvers. Alright. Marked on the minute. He's traveled about... He moved pretty quick. Moving pretty quick. It's probably why we heard him. We basically dumped a sonar buoy right in front of him. Alright, Mark 46 air dropped in. Oh no! It looks like it's bugged out and hasn't splashed down. Oh dear. We're at a decent altitude. Weren't too high. I'm not going to bother doing that again. We're just going to use our warships. I think that would have been a really easy kill anyway. Yeah, he's almost moved half a nautical mile in a minute or so. Alright, so we're just going to stay around. We're going to use our sea sprites as an annoying pest. Let him know we're there. Stretch out his course. He's still on the same bearing. Mark his position as of now. Alright, you see our circles encroaching on his position. We'll be able to get some actual readings from our shipboard sonar. But we're just going to keep dropping buoys in front of his position. Oh, we've had second contact, 7006. On a bearing of about 030. Again, we're going to set up a ring of buoys around his estimated position. Alright. We are getting to the business end of our hunt. They're streaming straight for us for the kill, so we have to deal with them. I mean, we could always turn around and just run away and keep them at standoff range. But not if this was an alpha class. If that was an alpha class, it would chase us down. Like 40 knots underwater or something ridiculous. I think it's the alpha, yeah. He's moving pretty quick. I could do the maths to work out how fast he's going, but come on, we're playing the game. We're not doing maths class. We're already doing trigonometry. Well, that answers that question. We're looking at a Charlie or a Victor class. They're formidable. If you don't know they're there. If you know they're there, it's just a big fish. Ready for a spearing. And we have about 4 nautical miles until we're within range. And that's with the Mark 46, which is going to have to travel there the slow way. That would be right at the limits of its range, which means there wouldn't be much time for pursuit once it was in kill range. The RUR is super deadly because you expending all the energy of the missile to get the torpedo there, and when the torpedo's there, it's fully charged, ready to go. It'll pursue you forever. We're going to try again with the Mark 46s. It might have been a one-off bug. So we dropped them on his noggin. No, it's not working. So I'll have to report that one. I will also test if that's just an artifact of this mission or the game itself. We've already knocked a few bugs on the head that have come up through the course of play, which I'm pretty impressed with. The ability to launch missiles that drop torpedoes but then retarget them against warships was not intended. Not for the Silex A, anyway. Well, they're polishing her up, ready for the main release. Some eagle-eyed viewers noticed that and reported it on the Discord. If you're watching this, mate, good on you. Now, this guy is encroaching on us too, but he looks like he's changing course. So he might very well have a bearing on us. I've slowed down the Perry. We have our towed array out. She's hardly moving. She shouldn't be very loud. This sub's moving fairly fast, so his ability to detect us may be minimized as well. One quality of life feature I would like to see is a change to the way the ruler marker and all that work. It's a little bit of a pain to go into the menu every time you want to use it. I'd like to see a little button on the side just for each tool. So that's where he's going as of the present moment. Our first contact, 7005, coming up. Got to stop here for a sec. And I'm just going to launch some at the limits of the ASROC range. But see if we can't get the torpedoes to track this target coming in. So we'll stretch this out here. He's still on the same course. Got our dud torpedo sitting there waiting, looking at him. Once the red ring touches the X, we will fire straight down that track. I will fire a bunch of them across the track and see if we can't get him from multiple aspects. Holding shift to launch multiple. But we are just waiting for the loading procedure. There we go. Slowing right down. Now that our weapons are away, he's going to come to us. Love to get him on the first salvo. Shock and awe, baby. This guy's changing course. That's why we regularly mark their position, so we can see any deviation. See what they're doing over time. That way you can plan for what they will do. Mr. Perry is just waiting. We're going to try and finalize the first fight before we engage with the second sub. We are more than aware of his position. This is the thing about combat too. He may not even know that he's spotted. And we don't really know if he's seen us. Now these torpedoes are going to take an eternity to get there. So we are firing 3 fish across his estimated course at the limits of the torpedo range. If he is running at max speed, he will run into those as they get there. If he's running at less than full speed, they will miss. They'll probably circle for a little while. Alright, he stopped noisemakers. He knows that they're coming. He heard them splash down. Let's do it again. 2 at a time with a 20-second wait, I think it is. We've got all the time in the world. Now, if this was a missile sub, and I'm not sure if the Charlie is or not, he could just surface and lob missiles at us. But then we could return the favor. Yeah, he went nope and turned hard to port. He's now heading on a more northerly track. Getting the hell out of Dodge. So we're going to drop some more buoys around him. I'm just going to keep lobbing RURs. Old Gearing's having a turn. Determined to see some real combat action. Just missed out on the real fighting of World War II. Just in time for the end. Dumping more noisemakers. You know that they're just absolutely pooping their pants. Well, we got We got angry fish waiting for where they were going to be. And we have Gearing's Azrock ready to welcome them where they will be. The super slow fish are on their way to greet our other friend to the south. I would love to pull it off if just... Yeah, I would love to pull it off first salvo. But he looks like he's slowing down. This guy was moving much faster before, I think. Let's fire another one there and there. So I have 2 webs of fish. If he doesn't get hit by the first ones, he's going to panic and turn off course. He can only go left or right. How are we looking here? Azrock, yes, we've caught him. We caught him. Take that. Good stuff. I think one will be enough. They are sitting at about 130 meters underwater, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on their damage control team. The rest of our torps are going for the noisemaker, I think. So we're going to send a few more. Gearing will get revenge. I'm firing them in timed intervals here. Just so we have splashdown in all different areas. Waiting for the 10-second mark. Looking good, looking good. I do wonder if the sub can hear us. We will find you. Torpedoes are about halfway there. It's about a 5-minute journey, that one. Long, long journey. How's Mr. Charlie looking? He's about to get penetrated again. Take that. They're trying to emergency ascent, but it's not working. It won't work with that many holes. Oh, they're making it. Does look like it's slowing down. Oh, no, you're dead now. Yeah, they're done for. And the pressure vessel collapses. She's a goner. I think we might be on the money with these torpedoes. I think we may strike them. It's all just really hope and pray now. Yeah, we need to move though. We've been at a standstill for a while. All of our known threats are tied up. One's neutralized. There could be others out there. Best not to get complacent until we know for certain. Traveling at 5 knots at a depth of 280 feet. Let's set up where we think she may turn in an evasive maneuver. And what course she may take. I would say at the last moment she'd only be able to turn about that much. Stop up again. All head full with the cruiser. All stop with the gearing. Oh, 2/3. We neutralize their threat. So we will head them towards this sub, but it will take them a while to get there. Going to keep with our operating procedure. Sprint and drift. Sprint and drift. Just in case we're being watched. I'm really liking the second wave. Second wave of torps might be good. First one is a little bit early. She's not quite traveling fast enough, I don't think. We're going to fire another fish on the estimated escape vectors. They will take ages to get there too, but if she dodges the first or second wave, she's going to turn into another. I should have done this much earlier, actually. Should have timed my 3 launches, but that's okay. Alright, all head full again. We detected something there on sonar for a microsecond, and I think it was because we're at a standstill. Flank ahead on gearing. She's making no attempt to evade. Oh wait, I spoke too soon. We've got noisemakers in the water. Alright, all the choppers are going to converge on this sub. We're going to sit at each of her points. And there is no escape. She would have to dive and just hope to God we can't detect her anymore. Wait for hours. She'd have to crawl at 1 knot to get away. We've depleted about half of our sonar buoys, so pretty good effort. I'm pretty sure you can just restock them by sending them back to the ship. That's just a time sink. Yeah, noisemaker is out, and I believe we've lost our contact. Believe we've lost them. I think that's their echo. Our torpedoes arrived. Sadly, no one was there waiting for destruction. Ugh. Right, we're going to plot her course. We're going to keep an eye on her every few minutes. Maybe less than that, every minute or so. Just until we can get someone with a rocket nearby. We do have 2 more waves of torpedoes coming. They will be some time. Let's make sure we keep the sonar buoys being dropped. Her heading has now changed so that escape vector is not accurate. But it seems it was accurate enough for her initial turn off. She didn't go any harder than a few 30 degrees or so. Perry's going to join the fight. Cruiser's heading full steam ahead. Stopping now for a drift. Yeah, she's running hard now. She knows she's in trouble. Plot the new course. Mark her position first, then ruler. I'm not keen to fast forward yet, or if at all now. I want to keep a track of her over the next few minutes. We'll see if she goes any more evasive. We do have a torpedo on that escape vector, but unfortunately is heading away from us rather than towards us. So very low chance of a contact. She's still on that bearing. We'll try and intercept. Try and delete this as well. This is annoying me now. You have to get it right on the line. Okay. She's changing her mind. See, now that the line is stretching, she's changing course. If we've got anyone that can help, where's gearing at? There's a massive sonar buoys and rogue torpedoes. Henry Tucker is on her way. Got some old torpedoes detonating. Yeah, she's moving fast now. I think she's trying to escape. But we are not going to let her. Seems like the choppers have unlimited fuel. Mark the position once more. Yeah, so she's made 2 major course corrections since we've discovered her. And it does appear to me that she's running. Setting up more sonar buoys around her just so we can keep track of her at all times. Surely, I think gearing is almost within range. Stanley is almost within range. Not long now, and we'll be able to lob some RURs at her. Our final wave of torpedoes are arriving, and she is long gone. Having the minimap at this scale sometimes is a little bit, it's a bit of an illusion. So if you have it zoomed out a little bit too far, you may think it's actually quite close, and it's not. So keep an eye on the scale down below. I probably won't fire long-range Mark 46s anymore. I was treating them like a long lance torpedo. And that just shows just how useful the ASROC is. It was 2 completely different kills. So the first sub got smacked down. The second sub had enough time to run away because she heard the fish coming towards her from 10 nautical miles away. Full stop and drift. Taking another evasive action, dropping noisemakers. Something is spooking her. Probably all my swarm of choppers around her position. That's where she dropped it, so we'll mark that. And then she made another turn straight after dropping. So she turned, dropped noisemakers, and turned again. not particularly maneuverable, so they can't do a lot. And it looks like she's coming to us. So we're going to send a welcome party. Two away. And as the smoke clears, we get to watch it happen again. Eventually. Nope. Missed that. Oh well. Gracefully soaring towards their target. Another two out. Beautiful shot there. Okay, we just had a Russian voice line. We must have a Russian comms officer. Which is okay. It's fine. You're allowed to immigrate. Drop some Mark 46s again. Because why not? This one looks good. Nope. Yes. Nope. Caught the noisemaker. Damn it. Might reacquire her. The one coming in from the east is actually got her. It's probably because she's got her sight on. Whereas these ones coming in from ahead can't see her so well. But those are our long-range fish coming from the frigate. Dropping noisemakers still. You're going to run out of those eventually, my friend. Mark up the position. Taking another evasive turn. It can get tedious to do this, but it gives you a real good sense of what they're doing over time. It can be hard to remember, especially when you're fighting more than one contact. Yeah, she's making a big slow turn here. We're just marking her up every 10 seconds. Just to see how evasive she wants to stay. She's been captured by two of our fish. She's turning away, trying to go cold on them. But it's too late. They've got you. Sight on too. Solid picture. You are toast, my friend. Russian submarine. Second one of the day. It seems that Comrade Premier was not telling the truth. Could this lead to an escalation in the war? Go from a proxy war to a all-on shooting match? We will have to find out. But one thing's for certain, I think we've illuminated the shadow in the sea. And like all monsters in the dark, when you shine a light on them, they tend to be not so scary. Now, just for interest's sake, we're just going to mark up her final course, so we can report to Admiralty exactly what happened here today. Where'd she go? Is she dead? Or is she going to hold on? I think she's done for. She has to have been. She's at 190 feet, yeah. Well done, Commander. Enemy forces destroyed. Good job. Well, I am Commander Tyrael. This has been another episode of Sea Power. Make sure to check out the other episodes I have up on the channel and keep your eye out for more operations. Until then, see you next time.